Our new manager announced that because $40 had gone missing from a register, he'd be holding everyone's tips until the thief confessed. He found out 3 days later exactly how badly that could backfire. I'd waited tables at Marino's for 6 years, a busy Italian place that does 200 covers on a Good Friday, where the servers actually live on tips, not the few dollars an hour that show up on our paychecks. Almost everyone there was holding a whole life together with that cash. I was covering my mother's prescriptions, Elena was working her way through nursing school, Marcus had 2 little kids and a rent that went up every year. That money wasn't extra. It was the thing that kept the lights on. Then Mr. Devlin took over as general manager and everything changed in a week. One Tuesday, the closing count came up $40 short. It could have been a miscount, a comp rung in wrong, a drawer that started light, the kind of thing that happens in any restaurant and gets sorted out by Friday. Devlin decided it was theft. He called us in before service, crossed his arms, and told us that until the guilty person came forward, all tips, cash and card, would be held by management and returned once the matter was resolved. We laughed at first because it had to be a joke. It wasn't. That night, he collected our cash tips into a lockbox and pooled the card tips into a pending account nobody could touch. By Thursday, it was real, and it was bad. Elena couldn't make her book payment. Marcus asked me quietly if I could spot him gas money. I skipped my mom's refill and split her pills in half to stretch them. We went to Devlin as a group and tried to reason with him, explained that most of us were living paycheck to paycheck, that punishing 30 people for one missing bill made no sense. He didn't budge. That's how accountability works, he said, arms crossed. We're a team. We sink or swim together. The day your coworker decides to be honest, everyone gets paid. A couple of people talked about just walking out, but it's not that simple when you've got a kid and a lease and a schedule that finally works around daycare. Devlin knew that. He was counting on us being too scared and too scattered to do anything but turn on each other and hope somebody confessed. For 2 days, that's almost what happened. That's when Rosa stepped in. She'd been washing dishes and prepping at Marino's for almost 20 years. Quiet, the kind of person managers forget is even listening. But Rosa had seen owners and managers come and go, and she knew 2 things Devlin didn't. She knew that in our state, an employer holding back earned tips isn't escrow. It's wage theft, and it's illegal. And she knew that Mr. Marino, the actual owner, had a huge private event booked for Saturday. His own sister's 50th 60 guests, the whole back room, the most important night on the calendar, so we waited. Rosa told everyone to keep quiet, keep working, and save everything. The memo Devlin had printed, photos of the lockbox, the exact amount each of us was owed, written down. Don't fight him now, she said. Fight him when it costs him the most. It was the hardest 3 days I've ever worked, smiling at tables, carrying plates, watching Devlin lock our money in that box every night, and saying nothing. Saturday came. The back room filled with Mr. Marino's family. The dining room was booked solid. 20 minutes before the first course, Rosa walked up to Mr. Marino with the rest of us behind her, laid the printed memo on the table, and told him, calmly, respectfully, that his new GM had been confiscating the staff's tips for 4 days, and that she'd already looked up the labor board's number in case it wasn't resolved. I watched the color drain out of Mr. Marino's face, not because of us, because he understood, instantly, what Rosa had understood on day 1. Withheld tips meant a wage theft claim, back pay, penalties, and his name on it, all breaking on the night his family was sitting 20 feet away. He pulled Devlin into the office. We couldn't hear the words, only the tone. 10 minutes later, Devlin walked out, got his coat, and left through the kitchen without looking at anyone. Every cent came back that night, counted out on the pass, plus an extra 100 each that Mr. Marino called for the trouble. No announcement was ever made about why the new GM lasted 11 days. Mr. Marino wasn't going to stand in front of his staff and admit he'd nearly let someone rob us to teach us a lesson. But Rosa went back to her dish pit like nothing had happened, and every one of us knew exactly who'd saved our month.